Very few cities in the world can carry the weight of the name Rome. It was not just a city, it was an idea, a will, a civilizational project. Rising on 7 hills along the banks of the Tiber River, this settlement gave birth, over 2,800 years, to the Roman Empire, the center of Christianity, the cradle of the Renaissance, and the legal, architectural, and linguistic legacy of the modern world. But in the beginning, none of this was apparent. In the beginning, there was only blood, mud, and a legend. On this journey, we're doing something special. Using advanced artificial intelligence techniques, we've transformed ancient engravings and paintings into vivid, lifelike scenes. So you won't just hear history, you'll witness it as closely as possible. According to legend, in 753 BC, 2 brothers fought on the banks of the Tiber. Romulus killed Remus and laid the first stone of a city bearing his name. But history paints a far more complex picture than myth. This early settlement on the Palatine Hill was a rough village of shepherds, fugitives, and outlaws. This strange mix, born from the friction of Latin, Sabine, and Etruscan tribes, would, by a twist of fate, plant the seeds of the greatest empire of its time. For the first 2 centuries, Rome was ruled by 7 kings. During this period, the Etruscans deeply influenced the city. Temples were built, a sewer system was established, and gladiatorial games and religious rituals became part of urban life. But in 509 BCE, everything changed. The last king, Tarquinius Superbus, drove the people to revolt with his tyranny and arrogance, and he was overthrown overnight. For the first time in its history, Rome declared itself a republic, and this was just the beginning. Republican Rome was an era full of internal contradictions, but also remarkable creativity. The struggle between patricians and plebeians gave rise to a complex system of balance involving the Senate, consuls, and tribunes of the people. The Roman army astonished the Mediterranean world with its discipline and flexibility. The Italian peninsula fell step by step under Rome's control through a masterful blend of war and diplomacy. As the city grew, so did its appetite. The 3 Punic Wars brought Rome to the brink of destruction and forged its rebirth. Hannibal Barca crossed the Alps with his elephants and marched deep into Italy. At Cannae, 80,000 Roman soldiers died in a single day. But Rome did not surrender, because Rome was not made of people, it was made of an idea. Scipio Africanus landed on the African coast and forced Hannibal to retreat at Zama in 202 BCE. In 146 BCE, Carthage was utterly destroyed, its land salted so nothing would grow again. The Mediterranean was now Rome's lake. Victory brought corruption, inequality, and political violence. The Gracchi brothers died for land reform. Sulla became the first general to march on Rome with his army. Then came Caesar. Gaius Julius Caesar, with his military genius, conquered Gaul, formed a civilizational alliance with Cleopatra, and crossed the Rubicon, declaring Alea Iacta Est, the die is cast. The Senate bowed to him, but in 44 BC, on the Ides of March, he fell to 23 dagger wounds in one of history's most dramatic assassinations. Before his blood had even dried, his successors clashed, and his adopted heir, Octavian, eliminated his rivals one by one. In 27 BC, Octavian was proclaimed the first Roman emperor under the title Augustus. The Republic was dead. The empire was born. The 2 centuries that followed, known as the Pax Romana, became one of the longest periods of peace in human history. The Colosseum rose, the Pantheon was built, and roads stretched from Europe to Mesopotamia. And a carpenter's son named Jesus spread his teachings across the world along these Roman roads. Rome unknowingly carried within itself a faith that would fundamentally transform its own existence. But nothing lasts forever. In the 3rd century, nearly 40 emperors came and went within 50 years, most assassinated. Plagues emptied cities. Barbarian tribes pressed against the borders. Constantine declared Christianity the state religion and moved the capital to Constantinople. In doing so, Rome divided itself. In 410 AD, the Visigoths sacked Rome. In 455, the Vandals looted and burned it again. And in 476, when the last Western Roman emperor was deposed, a 1,000-year-old structure officially collapsed. But did Rome truly die? In the East, Byzantium lived on for another 1,000 years. In the West, the Church inherited Rome's law and order. Renaissance artists looked to Rome's ruins and imagined rebirth. Today, the languages you speak, the roads you walk, the legal systems you study, and the architecture you admire all bear Rome's imprint. No empire has lived so deeply. No city has endured so profoundly. Rome was never just a city. Rome was the greatest dream humanity ever built about itself. And that dream never ended. See you in the past.